All right, guys. Let's keep it clean. This is a family show. No need to drop that kind of language, even if it is in Shriwook. It's Wookiee Week. Let's give the people what they want in English, please.
Wow. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Lookback. We will actually not do the entire show in Shriwook. Despite my best arguments, this is a show that is proudly part of the Youtini podcast network. It's a Star Wars books podcast for people who own the holiday special on VHS tape. They just aren't quite sure where they put it. It's around here somewhere, where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and I'm joined by my legendary co-hosts. Not Freddie C, because he is in snowy Ohio right now. Man, that guy gets around. But we do have the queen of the Wookiees herself, Emily Daybeck.
Queen of the Wookiees. I like it. I'm going to put that on my business card. I do wonder, how do you make that noise? Because I've never been able to make it.
Oh, man.
Is it like a back of the throat? Like, where do you place it to make the noise?
That's like a hotly
Let's
have our producer, our producer Rick Grace, explain the linguistics of how to make some good Shriwook sounds.
Yeah, please do. I'm curious.
Okay, I'm here. The first step is like you make a tone, and then you kind of bring out a roll of the tongue.
That was amazing.
You
said it, Chewie.
I'm a nerd. Okay.
That's great.
Well, we have Emily, we have Rick, and we also have a special guest tonight. That is true, everybody. I said we've got the hairiest, the scruffiest. How do I describe him? The scruffiest guest ever in the history of Legends Lookback, and that is our video editor himself, Oz Davis.
Hey! I don't know exactly what I'm doing here, but I think Jared just knew I owned this onesie, so he brought me along for Wookiee Week. But I'm glad to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely thrilled to have you. Here's the truth of the matter. All right. I was sorting through the Youtini Celebration archives, trying to find the video of when Emily's daughter had this very heartwarming encounter that Corey was describing Monday night on the Living Force. At Celebration, a kid dressed in a Wookiee costume came by the booth. And, Emma Grace went out, hugged the kid. It was very sweet. I was looking for some sort of footage of it. I didn't find it. What I did find was Oz in the Wookiee onesie at the booth making this face a lot. And I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? We do need a guest host for while Freddie's out. So
does it say heartwarming? Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, Oz. You were just warm,
and surprisingly,
light.
this was the closest anyone came to cosplaying at. Well, I guess Jared, you did the running.
Yeah, come on! I made my own costume.
Yeah, so the two of us,
$12.
we were really bringing up the Youtini representation.
Oh, it was awesome. And for those of you who don't know, Oz is like wicked tall, and so it's just like this absurdly tall man in like what looks like a pajama, like. I don't know, like
it's a onesie. Yeah,
it's a onesie for sure.
You can get it at Target.
Yeah, twinsies.
It's just very funny because it's like that looks like a child's pajama, and yet there's a very tall man inside.
Yeah, for the record, I'm 5'11" and a half. I don't even crack the 6 foot mark, but I do appreciate the compliment.
Well, you're
like
lanky.
A half inch taller than me, and automatically. A skyscraper.
I'm wickedly
You're taller than I think everybody else on the show, so I'm pretty sure that constitutes as wicked tall.
Peter Mayhew was what, like 7'8" or something like that.
Okay, not that tall, not legendary tall, but like wicked tall. There's like there's a scale.
We do want to give a shout out on the episode here to Peter Mayhew. That is right, the actor, the late great who played Chewbacca in the films, and do want to, of course. Give him a shout out because none of this would be possible without him. Brought so much life and character to Chewbacca and of course to the Wookiee species as a whole. I do want to go ahead and comment, Rick, on the fact that in the spirit of one-upping me always here on Legends Look Back, you've one-upped Oz with your Wookiee onesie. I specifically
true.
asked Oz to be on the show because of the Wookiee onesie.
Well, you didn't tell
And then
me
you
that.
showed up and won anyway.
I didn't know that was the thing.
And well, and yours has a face on it, huh?
yeah, yours
Yeah,
doesn't
show
have
us
a
the
face.
face,
No,
please. I need a
mine's-
close-up of that.
One-upped Oz.
Well, mine's
Mhm.
immersive, so I have my own face. But yeah. Okay, that's
It's like-
good.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Very nice.
I will say mine. It must have shrunk because it doesn't fit very well. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's riding up big time.
So crazy.
Yeah.
There's my arm clearance.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna get my feet out for you, but they look the same.
Yeah, it's
Well,
it's uncomfortable to wear.
I
I'd
do
say.
have my own little Wookiee costume of sorts to show
Oh.
off. You guys ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
I've got two things.
Wait. Okay.
One, cheers.
Oh,
Wookiee
very
koozie.
nice.
That's right,
Very
my
nice.
Wookiee koozie. Just water in there, don't worry. And then something else down here. I'll find it eventually. Here we go. Aha! I couldn't get my feet in the frame for all of you. Never mind. But I could. I couldn't go, Wookiee Week without showing off my very favorite piece of Star Wars clothing. I have Chewbacca slippers.
Ooh.
And
Dude, those
they've
look real
gotten-
ratty.
They've gotten a little bit old and well
little
They need
worn.
to be
scruffy,
brushed.
I guess. A little
With
There's
scruffy.
holes in the bottom, Jared.
I-
Scruffy
no,
Austin.
that's like
Holes.
that's something else. Yeah, it's a hole. Okay.
It's a hole. Those
Anyway,
look great, actually.
as they get older, they kind of take on more character. I feel like, don't you think?
I agree. I actually had a pair of like alpaca fur shoes at some point in my life that had holes in the bottom, and they looked a lot like that actually, but they were like real animal fur kind of thing.
When I would take the youth group in Massachusetts, a big group of us, we'd go out to all the Star Wars premieres. Like I think every Disney era film so far, they would have a costume contest. We'd go get pizza afterward, and then I'd always have like a nice Star Wars poster that I'd acquired from somewhere or something, because I'm always getting them. I would wear these. This was my costume. I would wear one of my Star Wars belt buckles, and then these. These have been to multiple Star Wars premieres.
Nice. That is
Multiple.
quite an
Okay.
That's right.
accomplishment.
So
Bold.
give it up for the slippers. I'm very excited about this episode. We've got some great stuff. We specifically want to give a shout out to our boy Freddie. Freddie, who even when he was on the road and out of town, sent in a video anyway. So Freddie is making his presence known, and I'm very excited to hear what he has to say. I don't actually know everything that he has prepared in this video, because my internet gave out about halfway through watching this earlier today. So let's hear what Freddie has to say.
Oh, we're doing that now.
Yeah, I kind of prefaced it there for like a good 30
Yeah,
seconds.
you
giving
totally
some
you
time
totally
to-
did. I'm ready.
kinda
All
Over
get
to
it ready?
you, Freddie.
right, here you go, Freddie C.
Coming in live.
Right now. Any second.
From earlier.
Hello, everyone. This is Freddie C. If you couldn't tell, this is not my studio. This is not a green screen. This is a vehicle. Reason why? I'm in Ohio for work right now, and it is freezing outside. It's about 27 degrees, light powdering of snow. You can kind of see a little bit of ice on the window right now. Let me turn this camera. Yep, definitely opposite of Kashyyyk. So, hello Oz, first of all. Welcome to the show. Love the it's not a beard. Sorry, it's like a half beard. What do you call that thing? A mustache. A mustache. Please keep the mustache as close to that mic as possible. We all want to hear it. Anyway, as a true professional, I wrote 4 facts about the home world. Not just about Kashyyyk, but really about Wookiees and just behind the scenes stuff. Really cool things that I could dig up right off the bat that I feel like everyone would like to hear, or maybe not. You may not want to hear this, and yeah, here we go. Number 1. Why isn't it 5, by the way? Oh, it's freezing. So 4 is all you're gonna get. Number 1, the Death Star. So the Death Star was originally, George Lucas had the intention to have the Death Star revolving around the planet of Kashyyyk using Wookiee slave labor for the building of that Death Star. Instead, mainly because of the outcome of that, I don't know if George wanted that blood on his hands. They moved it to Endor, and we never got to see the slave labor. We've read it in books and whatnot, comics. But yeah, so that's number one. Number two, 1978 holiday special. What's significant about that? Well, it's the first time we learn about the planet Kashyyyk. And it's interesting because that leads into number three, which is the script had Kashyyyk spelt Kazook. And that was the script for the holiday special. So that's like what, Kazook, something like that. And it isn't until 1979 when there was like an untitled newspaper comic that mentioned Kashyyyk with two different types of spellings, one with 3 Y's, another one with 2 Y's. So we get the first visual there. And number 4, Timothy Zahn. He didn't know that the Wookiee homeworld had a name already, and he planned to name it Rookroro, which is spelled RWOOKRRORRO. And he got shot down from that idea, and then he tried to pitch an idea of, well, let's just name that in the native tongue. He got shot down from that one again, mainly because Rookroro might not be that easy to say. Well, that's been it. Not sure if I mentioned this already, but I hope Oz's mustache looks absolutely fantastic tonight. Jared, hope you're doing well. Emily, hope you're doing well as well. And Rick, keep it moist.
Thanks
There for a
that,
second,
Freddie.
I thought he was going to leave you out.
I
Rick,
know.
and-
I was worried for a second. I was worried.
Well,
One week,
I'm
guys.
supposed to
We
be
made it 1
closer
week.
with the mustache.
I'm happy to say the mustache is here.
Is this
on
close enough,
camera.
Fred?
I feel it brushing through.
Yeah. Clearly, I left a very specific impression on Freddie during the week we spent together.
Apparently.
Well, I am very excited for us to get into the episode. Freddie has started us off on a hairy foot there. I actually had none of that information. I didn't know any of that. So thank you, Freddie. That's fantastic stuff. I especially loved your pronunciation of the Wookiee homeworld, which I will not attempt to say here on the air.
Kazook. We'll just stick with Kazook.
But I like to imagine Freddie, a Californian or Arizona, he's lived in the Southwest most of his life, being somewhere where it's snowy. It's kind of like in The Force Awakens when Chewbacca turns to Han Solo and then, it's cold, shivering, and Han Solo says, "What? You're cold?" That's kind of how I imagine Freddie in the snow. So we miss you, buddy. Can't wait to see you here in a few weeks. Next up, why are we doing Wookiee Week? We totally skipped over that. Why? Why would we do an episode all about Wookiees? It is a very significant holiday in the Star Wars universe. One involving different robes and or onesies. You guys know about this?
Yeah.
It's today, right?
What is?
Life Day.
Which is what, Oz? This is not in the notes.
Wookiee Christmas.
You heard it here first, folks.
Life Day originates in the holiday special in 1978.
Right.
Shout out to our buddy Steve in the chat who says I almost said was there. He was not there. He was not on Kashyyyk. He was, however, at home watching the holiday special live on November 17th, 1978. And I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been recanonized recently, which is exciting. You
Well,
have
not
to
the whole
let go-
thing.
No, not the holiday special. Life Day as a
yes.
tradition.
Yeah.
No, there's some stuff that will never live to see the light of day.
Well, we'll get there.
Is the original posted on Disney Plus? I have to know.
No,
No, they
Only-
buried it.
just the Boba Fett section that's available.
Yeah.
Everything else you have to buy off some skis ball.
Really?
Yeah.
You can watch it on YouTube, I think. Last time I checked, it was there.
Yeah, I mean the internet's a big place. You can
Yeah,
find
you
it.
can find it.
Okay, because I was considering making it part of my Advent tradition, but
Definitely.
I feel like maybe it might not be the most in
It's-
keeping with
you know,
that.
It's
I
just
will-
not worth it.
You gotta watch
Not
it.
really.
You gotta watch it by yourself because
But oh yeah, I
it's-
mean for sure.
it causes a lot of introspection. You have to wonder, you know,
Mm,
am I really understanding what life's about afterwards? That's for sure.
okay,
we-
I'm
we-
looking forward to that.
We literally lost Jared. Okay, and he's back.
There's a book that was just published. I'm trying to find it. My collection's too big.
It is.
You've not seen it. Come on.
Well, I was thinking as you're showing off your shoes, I was like, I wonder which of his belt buckles would go best with the shoes on the premiere days. But then you said you didn't wear the belt buckles on movie premieres because they dug
I have.
in.
I've rotated them. Yeah,
Oh.
I think I've worn them all.
Mm.
There's a book, The Life Day Treasury.
Oh yeah.
And so there's actually
yes.
there's a story in there about. There we go. Oz going to the shelves. Oz got quite the collection back there, looking great.
Look how tall he is. Look how tall.
We're about to see Oz.
Can't hear us.
There it is. His hindquarters and his onesie. Okay,
Yeah,
so
my bad.
there it is. The Life Day Treasury. Oz, see if you can find what pages these are on. They've got like a illustration in here, right?
That is
Well, it's on
delightfully
the
Christmassy.
back cover. There's
Look
one.
at that.
Oh man.
You got explain to the good folks what we're looking at here, the audio listeners.
Oh, well, we got the back cover of the Life Day Treasury, art by, I can open it and find out, but that's Chewie's family. That I think, Jared, you've got information on all of them. I assume off the top of your head. That's
We'll
art
get
by
there in a second.
Grant Griffin. Yeah, it's actually a really cool book. There's a few of these, but the Life Day one is maybe the best. I mean,
Yeah, it might
Like-
be.
you got fuzzy, snowy Ewoks.
That's right. I remember when the art for this was released.
Nice.
So
What if I
lots of
told
good
y'all?
stuff in there?
What if I told y'all that this week, as a last minute spur of the moment idea that didn't pan out, unfortunately, I went around to all of my local stores, Walmart, Target, Walgreens, those sorts of places, looking for red Snuggies in order to wear one live here on the show. And I was gonna, like put a flashlight under a snow globe or something and do the Life Day thing. And
Oh man.
instead, I'm wearing my retro Youtini. I almost said onesie. What have y'all done to me?
Hoodie.
The hoodie.
Hoodie.
So anyway,
Gotta have a
happy-
Legends look back onesie.
Onesies are like a hug, man. It's like wearing a hug. It's nice.
I can't say that I've worn one since, I was a baby.
But do you remember that they were soothing, right? Like you have
Yeah.
that core memory in there somewhere.
Do I?
You
Anyway,
do.
happy Life Day to all who celebrate. Somebody this morning, our buddy JG, who's here in the chat with us. Welcome, JG. JG said, wait, hold on. Did y'all plan Wookiee Week on the same day as Holiday Special on purpose? And he specifically said, and I quote, that's a big brain move right there. Now, I was kind of thinking this is one of the worst ideas I've ever had in my entire life. In a Youtini wide crossover event called Wookiee Week. Subtitle, like Shark Week, but scruffier. Shout out to my wife for that one. But in the words of JG, this was a big brain play. You know what else is big brain? Wookiees. So lead us off here. We're going to talk about Chewbacca in Legends. We're going to talk about the Legends Wookiee Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's something else. So I had to axe the stupid game. I went off in search of y'all know about these books? There's the books that have the little buttons you press that make a noise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all have them? Do you have the Wookiee one?
There's a Wookiee
No.
one.
There's an R2D2, a BB-8, and a Wookiee.
So it just makes a
Oh.
Wookiee sound when you press
No,
it.
the one I was thinking of is like Paw Patrol, and that one
Yeah. I've
Oh,
got the
okay.
Paw
Seriously
Patrol ones,
disappeared in the
yeah.
I've got the How to Speak R2D2. My kids love this.
That's pretty cool.
I think
It's
I have
got-
that
I'd
one,
keep that.
but I
It's
don't
got
know.
the buttons down here, and you press them, and it makes a noise. So there's 10 different options, and then each page explains what the noise is. It gives you different use cases
Aw.
for it. And they have one called How to Speak Wookiee. I never bought it. You know why?
Why?
Because you already knew, obviously, flawless, fluent,
That's right.
impossibly perfect.
Like Han Solo was raised by Wookiees. No.
Naturally.
Here's the reason why. Because there is no language called Wookiee. The language is called
Oh.
Shuriwook, and I found that canon breaking in my mind. Therefore, never bought the book. It was a 2011 publication. I searched inside and out, backwards and forwards, up and down, all the different bookstores in my area this week looking for one. Could not find it. So we're going to need a time machine in order to achieve the stupid game that I wanted to play. So we won't. What we will do, however, is give the full... Rick is over there in the background looking to see if he
I've
can
got the
figure out how
the
to speak
sounds
Wookiee.
of Star Wars. But I
Move
don't
along.
think
It's okay. We've got plenty to talk about here.
yeah.
Let's lead us off with the Legends history of Chewbacca, starting with the behind-the-scenes stuff. Who wants to lead us off here? Oz, you are, after all, our special guest. Tell us about Chewie's Legends origins
Yeah, all right.
with Ralph McQuarrie.
Yeah, the great Ralph McQuarrie, who pretty much, like, the more you learn about Star Wars, the more you realize he did, I think, all the heavy lifting, at least when it comes to design. You look up any ship, he probably drew it first. That includes Chewbacca, at least in the early forms. And he said, we've got a quote from him. When we started out, George was looking for crafty lemur eyes, little rubber teeth, a frightening visage. We've got an image there. Then Ralph softened. Yeah, Ralph, we're on a first name basis. He softened the features, made an homage to Lucas's Alaskan Malamute, Indiana, Indiana Jones reference there, who famously sat in the front seat of his station wagon looking like the faithful co-pilot. So that's how he became Han's co-pilot in the Falcon. And as you may know, if you're looking at the design there, it's not quite what Chewie ended up looking like, but they took inspiration for that for Zeb when Star Wars Rebels rolled around. And so you can see a lot of his early inspiration in Rebels and Mandalorian. They're still using his art to this day. But that's how Chewie came about.
That's so cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well done.
What if I told you that I kind of think that original Ralph McQuarrie Chewie looks like if Chewbacca got hooked on meth?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Also-
on meth?
In the top right, or left, depending on, are you looking at my screen or am I looking at your screen? There's the two Wookiee black and white concepts.
Yeah.
The one on top
Mhm.
kind of looks like if there was an offspring between a Wookiee and like a guinea pig.
Okay.
It's a little plump. That's all I can tell is that it's a plump.
It
looking
looks like
thing.
an Ewok
Yeah,
mixed with a
it's
Wookiee.
definitely closer to where we ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
And I love where we ended up.
All
I
right.
said this last week. They actually, I might have said it in the chat or somewhere, but it ended up on Living Force that I believe the defining feature of Chewbacca is the mustache. Peter Mayhew had a mustache that he refused to shave.
Wait, no, that is not his real mustache.
So no, they doctored it up, but
Okay.
the mustache was not a part of the original concept. And so they had to work it into the design. And I think it really makes Chewie shine, don't you?
Special.
Oz, as a mustache
Yeah,
aficionado.
I mean, I'm struggling. I'm looking at the picture there. The whole thing's a mask, right? Like, how is that his?
Yeah, I'm confused. I thought it was a mask.
Listen,
It's like
I'm
a
just
helmet.
spouting legends that I have off the top of my head that I didn't research
Okay,
ahead of time,
okay.
and you're just supposed to believe it.
I mean, I could see them maybe taking inspiration from. I don't know. It's a great mustache, though. To answer your question, yeah, you're spot on with that.
Okay,
your
thank you.
history.
We don't believe you, Jerry.
Maybe you're right.
Well,
you know what else
not
is
believing-
sketchy?
Help us out, chat.
Okay.
yeah. What else is sketchy, Rick?
Chewie's pervy family in the holiday special.
I didn't think you were actually going to say it, but you did.
You had it in the notes, man. I'm gonna read whatever's on there.
And now, Emily, you've not seen this, right?
No, and I'm like
Ugh.
scared to a little
So yeah,
bit.
yeah. Chewie.
Emily, what if I told you that I recommended you to the Star Wars archives when Trevor reached out to me a few days ago asking if I would like to come on the show to do a holiday special commentary track?
Oh my word.
And I said, I think a better recommendation would be Emily, who's never seen it before. So
Oh my
they'll
gosh.
be in touch. They'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right,
Ooh.
take it.
Tell her
take,
about
take
it.
it over, Rick.
All right, yeah. So Chewie has some family in the holiday special that we meet right away, and it is so uncomfortable. It's so fun. His wife, Malatobuk, aka Mallow. His son, Lumpawaru, aka Lumpy. His dad, Adachuk, aka Chunky. Is it Chunky or Chunky? It's Chucky. Chucky.
Well, it's
Chucky
neither.
Jr. or Itchy. So let's look at some photos.
Itchy,
It's itchy. I was
Itchy.
joking. That,
It says JK.
lumpy,
Yeah,
and itchy.
I thought it was
Yeah,
Chunky.
uh-huh.
Or Chunky, that's Thumb Wars or something, right?
And Chucky's the little doll with a knife.
Yeah, I know.
No,
Okay.
Oh
no,
my
no. I don't
word.
want that devil stuff in my house. Uh-uh.
I'd
Alright,
rather have
let's
Chucky than
see.
what we're about to see.
Do we have we have a photo of Lumpy? Anybody else?
I think we just have Lumpy. I don't know that the world needs to really spend a lot of time with Chewie's family.
No, you really need to look up his dad and watch some clips with Itchy in there because that will change your life, man. But here's Lumpy for you, everybody.
Yeah.
There's-
Oh my
God.
gosh.
He's cute, man. I would adopt him at the kennel if I was like, you know. All right, that's probably
Adopt him at the kennel.
The kid that played him, actually, that's his real mustache.
That was fantastic. Rick,
I-
you're about to be upstaged by Oz's dad jokes.
I know, it's great. It's great.
I will say I've seen it. I watched it once my senior year in college. So that was like 10 or 12 years ago. And I've not seen it again, but it has stuck with me. These characters, because
I mean, you're not gonna forget that.
it's a
Oh,
trip.
man.
Also, Emily, you think what we tried at the beginning of this podcast was long? The whole thing.
uh-huh.
They speak.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole
It's
thing.
a solid 15 minutes of
Yeah.
nothing but Shuri Wook.
And there's
Uh-huh.
no subtitles.
No
Yeah, yeah.
subtitles.
It's a
You-
That's rough.
beautiful exposition is what it is.
It's real avant-garde stuff. It's
Wow.
you just pick it up through the context, the emotion.
Oh,
So to the defense, one,
Okay.
it does really read like a 70s like variety special.
Drugs.
Oh, straight up.
And so it fits within its context really well. Secondly, Emily, as a content creator, somebody who has to fill the interweb void with an hour plus of content each and every week, you can understand, like theoretically, we would never do this. We couldn't even get through 15 seconds of it. You can understand why George would have them do 15 minutes of nonstop Wookiee dialogue because
Not
You
buying
know,
it. Not buying
clock's
it.
ticking, it eats up the airtime.
Not buying it.
Yeah, and so
I
then it
mean-
goes from Shriwook to then who is it? Jefferson Starship. There's a
Correct.
performance,
Yes.
Yeah.
a VR performance of just a real pop group. There's no Max Rebo. It's just like an actual band.
There's a lot of singing. There's a lot of
It's
singing.
it's the closest thing to a
No,
musical.
I don't want to watch
Yeah,
it.
You
there's a
really need to.
there's a cooking segment. That one's pretty.
There
fun.
is a cooking
A
segment. yeah.
cooking segment? What in the world?
Yeah, and I'm
The-
pretty sure Mark Hamill was. I think he even said himself that he was on something for that. That him and
I know he didn't enjoy it.
yeah.
He was embarrassed, and you can tell both Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill are uncomfortable. Carrie Fisher, however, really used it as her 15 minutes of fame. She got to sing. Boy, did
Yeah.
she sing!
Mm.
I also will give a defense for both the cartoon, which is pretty good,
Yeah.
because there's the segment where Boba Fett literally spanks the dinosaur.
Mhm.
So that one's a
Okay.
great moment. But then,
Great.
I'm serious, it is really funny.
Yeah.
And then secondly, the cantina. They recreate the Mos Eisley cantina, and it's got some different aliens. It's really good.
Oh, I didn't even remember that. That part didn't stick with
It's
me.
really good.
You
Does
know?
not describe any of what I just heard.
It was the dad watching the adult entertainment that stuck with me.
And and we do have Skooma Joe in the chat demanding a clip, and we're gonna move right along. So, we're not gonna talk anymore about Chewie's family. However, Lumpy does come back around a few times in Legends. They kind of redeem him a little bit. He doesn't want to be called Lumpy anymore. He wants to be called. I am not 100% sure if this is true. I looked it up, but I didn't write it down. I think he wants to be called Waru. But as soon as I say that, I'm thinking about the
Colts?
the big cube from the Crystal Star. So that may not be right. Anyway, Lumpy's in Legends, and they
Waru
do a
is
little bit
all.
more. A little bit more character growth with him. Also, if you're bored, Itchy's Wikipedia page is like a novel. It is extremely long for that old Wookiee.
Now, does he show up in other stories, or is that just Lumpy?
I don't remember a lot of him,
So
but
someone wrote-
obviously he's in enough to fill up like the longest Wikipedia
I mean,
page
it's,
ever.
It's the Wook, so
It is the
what
Wook.
do you expect?
Father Wook, man.
It absolutely is. All right. So Emily, tell us about Chewie's greatest hits in Legends. We're just gonna roll through these pretty quickly, and we're gonna get
Sure.
into the Hall of Fame.
All right, so Chewbacca cosplays as the bounty hunter Snuva in Shadows of the Empire.
Any of y'all have the Snuba action figure?
I don't think so.
I know we at least have an image
Oh,
of this.
Yes.
I think it is one of the coolest things that happens with Chewie in Legends. Mostly because, he doesn't really get a cool outfit in Return of the Jedi, right?
So it's his opportunity for shoulder pads, is what I'm hearing.
Hey, Dash Rendar would like a word.
Do you have glasses on?
it's like a
It looks like a cyborg eye, like a
That's
third
right.
eye.
Amazing.
okay. What else we got?
That's a lot. Anyway, he takes Leia home to meet his family in the Thrawn trilogy. I remember that part. He also spends a lot of time babysitting or protecting the Solo kids. Wounded and protecting them from kidnappers in the Crystal Star. He
Yeah,
gets wounded.
he like sacrifices his body to try to save
Oh.
the Solo kids. There's an epic image of him. It looks like he's been wounded on the battlefield. Out there on the internet somewhere. I don't know if we queued it up or not. We've got a lot of Wookiees to look at tonight.
Yeah, we do. And then, spoiler alert, cover your ears. He dies on Cernpidal in Vector Prime. Uncover your ears.
There you go. There's your gesture. Yeah, Chewie's death is one of the most iconic and divisive moments in all of Legends.
It's so rad, though.
It is. Was he burned to death?
What, you think it's rad, Oz, that he died, or this image itself is rad?
The second part. I mean, everyone dies, right? And if you're gonna go with a moon landing on you.
That's right. It reminds me of Kanan, how he goes in like Rebels.
Jared, help me out.
I'm sorry,
Except for it was
I like how we do it
earlier.
Yeah, we do a spoiler for the 30-year-old book, but not for the more recent TV show.
I mean, whatever. It's been out.
It's a Legend
You have
show.
time.
They did a great job
gotta know your
detailing.
audience.
They did a great job detailing the ramifications of Chewie's death in Vector Prime on the Living Force Monday night. So we're not going to go into too much detail last night, other than to say that he got Bob Salvatore, R.A. Salvatore, got a ton of blowback from fans, to put it kindly, death threats even.
All right.
And so, let's just not do that to our authors for their storytelling decisions. Hey, we got a Snuba! All right.
Look at that.
Nice.
Beautiful. It's so out of focus, but so
there it is. Looking good. Holographic Snuva, 3 dimensions. If anybody has an extra, let me know. I would love to complete my line of Shadows of the Empire action figures. So far, I think I have Luke in that weird red body armor.
Did you not end up getting that Shizor that you saw?
Oh, no, I've got Shizor. Trust me.
The Ewan McGregor Shizor?
I did not get the being choked Shizor, but I do have the traditional Shizor action figure.
There's a choked Shizor?
Yeah, at Celebration, there was it's a long story.
Okay.
It's a Prince
Put that in
Shizor
your back pocket.
piggy bank of when he was being choked by Darth Vader. And I'm 99% certain that is what Ewan McGregor pulled over to look at the booth over there by us.
I didn't remember the choking part. You just told me the Shizor part. So that's good to know.
It's part of the story. There it is.
All right. Moving
So,
right along.
If you know of more of Chewie's greatest hits from Legends, please let us know. Honestly, underutilized in Legends after having reviewed and done some research. I think his death makes a great impact. It shows the stakes of the New Jedi Order. It shows that nobody's safe, and just it makes you hate the Yuuzhan Vong. I mean, it makes you hate them. They killed Chewie. I mean, it makes you hate them. And
like when Hedwig dies in Harry Potter.
Spoiler alert. And then you've got to sit with the Yuuzhan Vong for another 18 books after that.
18?
Yeah, plus the short story.
First, is it the first book in the series?
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very first book.
Sense,
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's not that big of a spoiler for the series because it's the very first one.
That's sad.
That's true.
And it made like national news. But we're not just going to talk about.
I heard about it, and I wasn't reading Star Wars books when it came out.
That's right. All right. Have I ever told you my Vector Prime story?
Feel like you're about to.
Oh, you better believe it. All right. So I was reading this. Might have been 2012. It was late at night, and I was right at the part, where Chewie bites it. And I don't know for a fact if Chewie's death made me sick or if the pork loin that I had for dinner made me sick. But I'll tell you this much. I have never been able to eat sage-encrusted pork loin ever again.
What a very specific aversion.
Yeah. So also Chewie's, I think that at least in some part I had a visceral reaction to Chewie's death. I was physically sick.
That was it.
Ran to the bathroom, and you can fill in the details of what happened next.
So that wasn't a joke when they said that on Living Force the other night.
Very true. It made me physically ill. I tweeted about it. I tweeted, just got to the part of Chewie's death in Vector Prime, and it made me physically sick. I hate this, and I'm
wow, something like that. Peter Mayhew himself responded to me.
No.
Hey.
This
What?
was 2012, 2013. He responded to me with, "The Wookiee lives," and I quote,
Ooh.
"The Wookiee lives."
Man.
Here's my theory. He had already been contacted about coming back for The Force Awakens. The timetable adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 7. I don't think it had a title at this point. George was trying to shore up the main cast of characters before he made the sale to Disney. This is right shortly after the Disney sale. I think he already knew that Chewie was back in play for the new movies, and he gave me, personally,
Mm-hmm.
a small hint
Look
of what
at
was to come.
you.
I like it.
You
Man.
are so important.
Imagine if we
Thank
could have
you.
had that as a Youtini exclusive.
Oh,
Right?
man. We
I
we
know.
basically did. I think we can claim it.
Retroactively,
So
we can, absolutely.
I didn't
So,
pull up the Peter Mayhew image, so let me get that. Here's
there he is.
Peter,
Shout out to Peter Mayhew.
Mr. Mayhew.
Love him.
Or is he Sir? Did he? I don't know.
I don't know. The late great. We'll call him
Yep.
that.
That works.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the Legends Wookiees Hall of Fame. Leading us off is the Wookiee with a speech impediment from the Thrawn trilogy. Emily, I think you should take the honors on this one.
What in the world?
There's not much
If
to
you-
say.
Ralra? Is that how you say
Yeah.
that?
You gotta try to say it like
Ralra.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So
Oh my God,
proud.
that was awful.
You did
Please
great.
don't. I'm not gonna listen to this
I'm gonna
episode
add that to the
after.
mixtape.
From from the Thrawn trilogy, a Wookiee with a speech impediment. Sure enough, you heard it right. Who serves as an incredibly uncomfortable translator for Leia on Kashyyyk. Why did they put a? Never mind. I've got questions. We don't have time for them.
Do you have the clip?
But is there a
So
clip?
it's one of the most famous clips from Legends Look Back. We played it on our 100th episode just recently
Ah,
when we were doing our roundtable of the Thrawn trilogy. We played an actual
yeah.
clip from the audiobook. I'll throw it in the Discord. And it is unbelievable. Shout out to Mark Thompson for going for it.
He definitely.
He had no
So-
choice.
and also to Timothy
MVP.
Zahn for
Yeah.
writing this. It works on a narrative level of having a Wookiee who speaks in English-ish, but to the Wookiees that's a speech impediment, like to be able to speak basic, right?
oh, okay. See that you should have added an asterisk.
Well,
that.
but
And-
can he speak Shuriwook at all?
I don't know. I don't remember.
So it's like if if I have a speech impediment, everything I say is in Spanish. Like that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
That's
Well,
so
It-
interesting.
it's an entertaining clip for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
So the Wookiee says, "My name is." And it's this long, the Wookiee names. They're long. They've all got the
I think
nicknames
I
like
remember
Itchy,
this.
and it's like, but you can call me. It's one of those things that it's one of my favorite moments in any Legends audiobook I've ever listened to ever. And
It's
if
like
we
a
ever get the
spit take
chance,
audiobook moment.
if we ever get to do a full length interview with Mark Thompson, which we have in the works, it's
Ooh.
absolutely one of the questions that I'm going to bring up is, what was that like? How did you keep it together? And would you do it again?
Yeah.
All right, moving
Do
on.
it again.
Oz,
Oh,
take
man.
Dulana for us.
Yeah, I'm bummed I didn't get Ralra because that was the main one I was hoping would be on this list since
man,
all
we
my
should've
Legends
swapped.
information comes from this show. Which again, like I said, I don't know why I'm here. I have not read much Legends, but there is Dulana, a much easier name to say. That's the Wookiee widow who raised Han in the Paradise Snare. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah,
Way
tell
you
us
got it bulleted here. Okay,
Tell
yeah,
us everything you know about Dulana
yeah.
that you're learning right now.
Hey, I read ahead. So we've got Dulana. She is a cook aboard the Trader's Luck, captained by Gareth Shrike. She taught Han basically everything he knows. I think we can assume that. And she's the one who discovered Han's last name. Worked a little different than just making it up in the
Which
solo
I
movie.
wonder how she would even communicate that to Han, but that's neither here nor there. Like, how do you communicate a last name in Shiriwook?
I mean, I've always wanted
Just
that too. Han's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Oh, Chewbacca." Yeah, sure. Like,
Oh, I know.
let's not think too much about
There's
how
got to
this
be an
works.
alphabet. Surely there's a Shriwook basic alphabet. A.
I mean, there's gotta be. Maybe
C,
it's like Cyrillic, where like if you know, you know, and the rest of us are completely clueless.
If
I mean,
only I'd bought that dang book 10 years ago.
And while we're at it, why does Kashyyyk have 3 Y's in it? There's like
I know.
Excellent.
we didn't have to do that. And anyway, and so then Dulon ended up saving his life by
This
sacrificing.
is a spoiler. It's a spoiler.
Oh, what book are we spoiling here? Is this still
It's
Paradise
like
Snare?
It's like in the second chapter of the
Okay.
Paradise Snare.
All
yeah.
right. So she sacrificed herself to save Han. Not as epic as getting a moon landed on you, but still very noble and the big ramifications for the story.
Absolutely. Shout out to Dulana. Dulana is a
Yeah.
real one. I would love to take the next one,
F's in the
Rick,
chat.
because it's like my favorite character in all of Legends, unless you want it, Rick, in which case I
Go
probably
for it.
still want to take
Go
it.
for
Okay.
it. Go for it.
All right. Lobaka from
Mm.
the Young Jedi Knights is also in the New Jedi Order, a little bit here and there. Lobaka is Chewie's Jedi nephew. With like the black streak in his hair. He has a crimson bladed lightsaber before it was like really set in stone that only the bad guys have the red blades, right?
Uh-oh.
Is it baddie?
Lobaka has an affinity for mechanical tinkering. It's like, really good
Okay.
at fixing stuff and making like STEM. Is that a thing?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
robotics
Yeah.
in school.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me in Arkansas in the 90s, but they do
Shocking.
it now, so that's cool. Loey is his nickname. Loey is BFFs with Jason and Jaina Solo and Tenoka Joe on Luke's Jedi Academy on Yavin 4 in the Young Jedi Knights books. They're like this little posse of the pack of the 4 of them. Actually, the 5 of them, because he wears a translator droid as a belt buckle. I mean, come
What?
on.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's like a mini C3PO called MTD. And he wears just like the head, like this tiny, like a condensed. Imagine like an iPod Nano C3PO,
Wow.
and wears it as a belt buckle. So it's like the 5 of them because the droid totally counts, and they're all up to hijinks and chasing crystal snakes and all that good stuff on Yavin 4. And then after that very nice innocent introduction, there's a book called The Diversity Alliance, which I feel like has not aged
Ooh.
well.
Yikes.
So I need to come back to it. I'm very excited. In the Diversity Alliance, Loey briefly joined an anti-human cult.
That
Alright.
seems kind of on brand for the title, though, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, was the cult called the Diversity Alliance?
Or
Yeah, yeah.
the
But I mean, like,
Is that a
non-diversity
spoiler?
alliance.
diversity is, I would consider it a good thing. Like, it makes the world a better place.
Hot take.
Yeah, yeah. I think like diversity, like it's good to expose yourself to different kinds of people,
Yeah.
different viewpoints. In terms of
Say the 4 white people.
race and gender and all different ways of having diversity. Religion. I think it's good to expose yourself to lots of. Anyway,
Yep.
to have
I agree.
a cult called the Diversity Alliance, and like that's a bad thing.
Oh man,
Kind of an issue.
Interesting.
that is interesting.
Kind of an issue. But he comes back around, and his friends rescue him from the cult, and that's cool. Just in time for him to get sent to Jedi detention in the Dark Nest trilogy for doing some naughty things with the Khaliks
What?
in the Bug books. Yeah.
No, no.
Emily, you tried to read the Bug books.
I started to, and you told me to stop. And
I
that's
would
when I got
recommend-
scared.
I would recommend reading the New Jedi Order first. Anyway, in the Bug books, all the young Jedis go off and do naughty stuff with the bugs, and they get sent to Jedi detention. And so then, like all the books after that, they keep referencing it. They're like, "Hey, where's Lobaka at, by the way? Oh yeah, he's still off serving his time on that moon out there in the middle of nowhere because
Yikes.
of all that bad stuff he did." Anyway, it's hilarious to me.
What did he do to the bugs?
Oh, you don't want to know, man.
He still
It's-
won't tell me. I've been on this show
it's-
for over a year, and he
it's-
still won't tell me.
It's
And I'm scared to look.
Yeah.
it's extremely questionable.
Yeesh.
Moving on.
Okay. All right.
Hey, can I have a tangent
I'm
real quick?
scared.
Absolutely, please do.
All right, so
Save us from the bugs.
yes, the bugs are gone. This is a book I've referenced before. This is Star Wars Galactic Phrase Book and Travel Guide by Ben Burt, none other. It's the sound of Star Wars
yeah.
himself. And there's a chapter, no joke, communicating with Wookiees.
Mm.
And it goes on to talk about the different categories grunts, barks, wah-wahs, moans, whimpers, trills, snarls, and growls. And it has some getting started. To speak in Shriwook, open your mouth, lock it open, and try not to use your tongue at all in forming sound. No lips either.
What?
All sound
What?
emanates from the back of the throat. Let's start with a casual conversation.
No tongue, no lips. I got it. Yeah, I think this needs to be like a Patreon goal where
yeah.
Rick reads the Shriwook section.
There's a
Please.
whole bunch of phrases. You want to count to 10 in Shriwook? So
Yes.
yeah, there's more coming. Don't you fear. There's a whole conversation to be had. All right, tangent over.
Wow. I'm so glad that you did you just like have that in your mind that you needed to go get that book off the shelf?
Well, I wondered. I know that when we talked about like Hutts, when we're doing the Han Solo trilogy, and there's so many Hutt like lore, I remember I referenced this book because it had a chapter on Huttese. And I was like, I wonder if it's got a Shriwook section. And sure enough, it didn't disappoint. So
Can I just say, Rick is a dang wizard when it comes to Star Wars reference, like nonfiction.
Yeah.
He is like the go-to guy.
well,
Like, and then you and Freddie have definitely got the fiction aspect down, but Rick is like the nonfiction man.
Trevor's my hero.
Well.
So someday maybe I'll be like that guy.
You
Trevor
got
is
a
your
you got a
hero?
niche,
Oh,
man.
goodness.
I see
All
it.
right.
That's a big competition.
No
Yeah.
competition. No competition.
Today in the Discord, somebody was asking about the wave of Essential Legends collections, which we're going to talk about on the next show after Thanksgiving. The new wave of Essential Legends collection books, which features Dawn of the Jedi into the Void. Dawn of the Jedi into the Void. And somebody was asking, hey, does that have an audiobook? And I said, yeah, it even has a short story at the end. And as soon as I said that, I like could feel my inner Trevor like coming out of me when I just like couldn't contain myself until I said the thing about the short story. Anyway, shout out to Trevor. If you want more Trevor content, tune into the Star Wars Archives this weekend for their very special Patreon bonus episode, a part of Wookiee Week. And I know I can't wait. So let's get into a handful of more of the Legends Wookiee Hall of Fame. This time, we're talking about video game characters. We did the book characters. We talked about Lobaka, talked about Dulana, and Ralra. Right? And so now we're going to get into the video game characters. Rick,
I would love to
us-
take one of these. I'll take the
lead
next
us-
one.
Okay. Rick, lead us off with Zalbar.
All right, so Zalbar from Knights of the Old Republic. So let's see. He is accompanied, right, with his Twi'lek girl? Okay, yes. Spunky Twi'lek girl mission he's Val's shaggy counterpart. He, at some point, joined a nice gang on Terrace called the Hidden Becks. You have to rescue him from the Rak Ghul-infested sewers of Terrace. Yeah, I'm still not there yet, by the way. I'm stuck in, like, the cantina or whatever on the, like, the top level.
It's the same planet, so you're
Yeah,
in
yeah,
luck.
I know. I'll get there eventually. He's got dope swords. You can visit his, his homeworld of Kashyyyk and have to settle a dispute between his family members, and there's a lot of Shriwook. Yay for that.
I mean, like, the holiday special has nothing on this.
Oh, yeah. Right. Then you learn that he is the exiled son of the chieftain Freyr. His brother Chundar, which is the Wookiee equivalent of Chad, works with slavers. And so
he's such a Chad. Chundar is such a Chad.
I'm sure. And so Zalbar tried to bring the issue to his father, which led to a fight, and he attacked his father with his bear claws. I thought he was a Wookiee, which is, of course, a Wookiee no-no. So
His
yeah.
bear claws. I just got that. I wrote this, and I just got that.
There's a lot more to the story, including a secret mission to the Shadowlands, a ceremonial blade, and a Wookiee rebellion.
Oh my gosh.
So, inherently a light side Wookiee, though there is a dark side path you can take with him, including killing his father, turning Kashyyyk over to the slavers, and choking his bestie Mission Vow to death. If you do that, Zalbar eventually turns on you. He also notoriously has bad breath, and his friends call him Big Z, which I think I have his figure. Let me grab it.
I've got it. I've got it right here, ready to
Okay.
go. Yeah, I thought about this while you were talking. I
Cool.
wrote these notes earlier this week, and
Yeah.
just now I remembered that this exists. Yes, there is a Gaming Greats Hasbro Black Series Zalbar figure.
Yeah.
And now I want to take him out and pose him fighting off against like Oppo Rancisis or something stupid like that.
Nice.
But he's a great and absolutely fantastic Legends Wookiee. Such a, as you read there, I mean, barely scratched the surface. See what I did there?
Ah.
One of the most well fleshed out story arcs of a Wookiee in all of Star Wars canon or Legends.
Nice.
And then there was a sequel. If these were Taylor Swift albums,
Here we go.
Zalbar would be 1989, and then Hanhar from KOTOR 2 would be Reputation. It's the dark and edgy sequel
All right. Can we
to Zalbar.
can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Have I mentioned I don't really like Taylor Swift
Uh-oh.
because
No,
I
we
mean-
cannot. Oz, I would love to hear your take on Hanhar.
Okay.
Hold on. I gotta explain.
We're gonna okay.
She went to my crosstown rival high school.
Ah.
Jessica was a few years younger than her, but she has a yearbook that she's in that Taylor's also in. And when she graduated, she didn't graduate from the school. She was homeschooled by the time she graduated. Taylor, that is.
That explains everything. She was homeschooled.
At the end. She also
Weren't you homeschooled, Oz?
No, I'm not,
Sorry.
but
Oh, okay.
that's sort of a weird accidental insult, I think.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, it is a weird one.
You
I
seem
was
like you're
homeschooled.
homeschooled.
Anyway, whenever she made it big, when Jessica was a senior in high school, her whole like fine arts department was invited to the CMAs to go watch her like sweep the place that first time in 2009 or 10, whatever that was.
Wow.
And so I was super jealous because I was at the other school across the town. Then after all that happened, Taylor Swift donates like $20,000 to renovate the high school auditorium, and my school is just out there in the dumps. Also, Taylor was never a good singer in high school, never made select choir, and my wife did, so just
Hey,
saying,
so
just
you're saying
saying.
your wife's a better singer than Taylor Swift?
Different. It's a different kind of singing because she doesn't really sing. She just kind of talks and, has some
I
sound
love
that.
Rick,
that-
you got tea. What in the world?
Yeah,
Did your wife just break Ticketmaster though? Because Taylor did.
Oh,
I love
Nice.
that we can add
Uh,
your high school, Rick, to the dozens of people that Taylor Swift has dumped over the years.
Oh, that's another thing is like all these people she wrote songs about, people in our hometown knew. Like
Wow.
Drew's in the yearbook too, like all that stuff. Yeah. And she went to the Catholic high school for a music video and not any of the public schools. Okay, different. Yeah. Not
All
gonna
right.
go.
Well, I think during this next section, Rick's gonna go grab the yearbook to bring.
I was
so,
about
sure
to
he is.
say.
I'll have to find it. I don't know where
Now,
it is.
I love that you had like a whole anecdote to my spur of the moment
Yeah.
analogy,
I've been
which
holding it.
totally works.
it
I've been
was a
holding it.
solid analogy. I'll give you that, and very timely because
Yes.
she's in the. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
So there's Zalbar, the light side, nice, good boy Wookiee, who even if you like force him to do naughty things, he turns
Gotta
on
stop
you.
saying that
And
word,
like he
man.
wants
Yeah,
to
right.
Naughty
okay, bad things. That's not as creative of a vocabulary
Mm.
word.
Nor
Mhm.
suggestive.
Is Naughty a bad word? I don't understand.
And Freddie says we're gonna rename the show Legends Swiftback. I love, we totally do. And so, Freddie, you remember that time that on April Fool's Day we pretended like the show was about Pokemon and we talked about it for a solid 15 minutes? that was fun. All right. And then in KOTOR 2, he gets like an analogous dark side Wookiee. Who said they wanted this one? Emily?
I said I wanted it, but I kind of take it back because
Okay.
I love these descriptions. You get quite saucy, and I want to want to see Oz's take on all of these.
All right. Yeah, we've got Hanhar from KOTOR 2. This is our first look at a dark side Wookiee. Look at that badass.
We don't say that
it's-
on this show, Oz.
Oh, ooh, look at
Wrong
that.
show.
Look at
It's
that
okay.
bad booty. That's so much worse. Yeah, it's our first
Somehow.
look at a bad Wookiee. This guy walked so Black Chrysanthemum could run. You get to either you get to either choose Hanhar for the dark side or Mira for the light side on Narshada. So obviously you got to go with the cool one. Hanar grew up roaming the forbidden ground level of Kashyyyk, aka the Shadowlands, enjoying darkness and killing, which is seen as dishonorable for the Wookiees. He was rejected from his people, so instead of running away, he just killed his entire tribe.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah. He was then
This is
captured.
not funny.
Well, he was then captured.
You're the one laughing, Emily.
So
Sorry.
this is honestly kind of honorable, depending on how you look at it. But instead of succumbing to a life of slavery, he just killed all the humans on the slave ship and got out to Nar Shaddaa. The story gets, we're not even into it yet. It gets more twisted. After the slaughter of the slavers, he forms his own version of a life debt, a sick version that Jared wrote here. But his life
not
debt
like sick
is
in a good way.
Right. It was sort of reverse of a life debt. He vows to just kill all humans. Is he the one who started the Diversity Alliance?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. But then his a hit job on a human goes wrong. Mira spared his life, which is a devastating humiliation to him because now he actually does kind of owe her a life debt. And he felt that was like slavery, the life debt. Right. So even though Mira didn't want the life debt, he's still torn between, honoring his true Wookiee roots and wanting to murder him. It's like a real tough choice there.
What is this?
So then when the player character intersects with the timeline, they get a series of choices. And there's a crime torture boss named GOTO, or probably GoTo. I'm guessing. I've not played this game, if that's not abundantly clear, but I'm sold on it now.
I mean, the plot.
Yeah. So there's a lot you can choose, mostly bad things, it seems. But then Chris Avallone, the project lead for KOTOR 2, he wanted to have a story path in which you could turn the Wookiee into a dark Jedi. But Lucas said, no, there's not going to be any more Wookiee Jedi. So yeah, Jared, you put in here, no one tell Buryaga from the High Republic. Because now I guess Lucas can't tell him no. Although another Wookiee you didn't have on your list that I wanted to see shouted out is my boy Gunji from the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Eventually, George came around a little bit.
Yeah, which is, he's got the coolest lightsaber, so it's worth it. But Hanhar is where it's at if you want a bad booty Jedi. Or Wookiee, sorry, not a Jedi.
That's some great, like a light dark foil, Zalbar and Hanhar. I mean, just amazing storytelling. And these are just, two characters out of these games. And every single character has an incredibly well fleshed out story like this. And that's why these games are beloved. Knights of the Republic 1 and 2. And if any of the developers from Aspire working on Knights of the Republic 2 for Switch are out there, still love to see that DLC, that restored content mod. Waiting on it. Very excited for it. So
where do we stand on that?
What's up? Yeah. So here's the thing. All right, Deep Rabbit Hole. The game was released incomplete. They rushed it, and so there's tons of restored content, like so much more of the story that's in the game that people have dug up over the years. And for the first time ever, Aspire has said that they're going to release the full version of Knights of the Republic 2, and they promised it in October. And it's now late November, and it is no word from the developers. So we're waiting on it and excited for it. But that's all the stuff you can learn about Hanhar in the above the board version. But that's not the last Legends Wookiee from the video games. We've got one more. Emily, you're up with Jakaro.
Yes, Jakaro from Star Wars The Old Republic. A Wookiee, not Jedi, but a bounty hunter with a droid head on his chest, apparently, hired by the Order of Revan cult. First time hearing about that. Want to know more about that? But it was betrayed by the Sith and imprisoned. He was freed by Republic intelligence and became the sidekick to Theron Shan. His translator droid C2D4 hangs around his neck as opposed to a belt buckle, as we've seen before.
Not as cool.
C2 often smooths over the harsher language that Jakaro tends to use. He received 12 death sentences for his part in fighting against the Revenites.
What if I
What?
told you that Jakaro single-handedly inspired Wookiee Week?
Did he?
Yeah.
He gets one paragraph on this whole page, and he's the one that inspired it all. Please tell me more.
What you want to do to really get a grasp of Jakaro is look him up on YouTube. So the
Oh.
feel of the dynamic here of what we described, where he has this harsh language and is like very insulting and says a lot of naughty things. And then the droid, you like read the subtitles for all the Shiriwook, right? And the subtitles are like, I want to eviscerate you and your entire family and bring death upon the humans. And then the droid says, Jakaro finds that answer satisfactory. So he's always
Like
doing
translating
some
on a next level.
serious editing and censorship. And so shout out to Freddie for not being here with us in person tonight, but Freddie has been here with us in the chat. And safe travels, man. And also to Jakaro. Jakaro is a real one. Those are some great Legends
Look at that, I mean,
video
that's
games.
savage.
Yeah.
He does look awesome.
Droid head strapped on his chest, bad mouthing everybody, gets death sentences, 12 of them.
And one of the
What in
things
the
we're noticing
world?
here with a lot of the Wookiees in Legends is they're sidekicks to main characters. So Lobaka is Jaina Solo's bestie. You've got Hanahar and Mira, but that's kind of a weird, twisted relationship. And there's another one. What's the other one?
Chewbacca.
I know about Chewbacca. Zalbar. Zalbar is, with Mission Val. This time around, did you notice the name that you read there, Emily? Who is he a sidekick to?
Jakaro? What?
Theron.
Yeah.
I don't know. C2D4? What? What are you
Theron
talking about?
Shan.
Theron Shan.
Shan.
Does that last name mean anything to you?
I recognize
Shan.
it. Oh, Bastila.
I've heard it.
Bastila Shan.
No!
I'm not gonna tell you, what the relationship is there, but there's something.
Warrior Revan cult Bastila Shan.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting. I got
All coming together.
reference. Yeah.
Theron Shan is the main character in a Legends book, The Old Republic Annihilation. So that's on, I know, quite a few of our Legends Race to the Finish. I think it might be what Freddie's currently reading at this very moment.
I'm reading
Freddie's
Lockdown,
gone.
and I'm thinking
He's
of him.
flying.
Yeah, Freddie's gone. We're not. We're still doing the show. We've got one more Legends Wookiee. Who's going to take it? Tyvoka. I'm not going to take it. This is the only one I don't know anything about.
All right, I'll go for it.
Go for it. Thank you, Rick.
Tyvoka appears in Dark Horse Star Wars issues 36 to 39. He is Plo Koon's Jedi Master. So much for no more Wookiee Jedis.
Yeah.
Presided, I guess he's before the other ones, but anyway, presided over a peace summit between the Republic and the Trade Federation prior to Episode 1. Apparently, he had a short temper. He was blunt, but humble and modest. He possessed the power of premonition. Tyvoka had a curved-handled wood hilt lightsaber. That sounds pretty nice. I'm a knife collector, so I'm ready to see that.
It is a cool lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a big fan of Qui-Gon Jinn. That'd be interesting to see those two fight it out. So a lot of good Wookiees tonight that we've talked about.
Yeah, I can't wait to read that particular arc with Tyvoka. And also, he apparently has like this Jedi superpower, which I love that the Legends comics would do this. They would give a Jedi like some new force power that nobody else ever had before. He would have like super vivid force dreams, like the force visions, and like could predict the future more like better than other Jedi could.
Yeah, I'm sure Yoda hated that.
That's really helpful.
And I think that the fact that Qui-Gon Jinn is so much into prophecy, I think that's why they butt heads.
Interesting.
But also, Qui-Gon bends the rules, and Tyvoka is like very much straight shooter.
I mean, his dreams must not have been like that good, or he was just having dreams about the wrong thing. Because there's a lot of stuff around that time that he should have been able to see in his dreams that would have been
what?
I don't know. Nothing comes to mind. But around the prequel era, I feel like the Jedi were missing something.
Have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
That's the one. He's like, oh yeah, I had a dream about it.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up our Legends Wookiee Hall of Fame. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that between the three of you, most of these, barring Chewbacca and Chewie's family in the holiday special, bless their hearts, were new for you guys to hear about.
Yeah, I think so.
Most of them, yeah.
So
Yeah.
which of the Legends Wookiee Hall of Fame Wookiees? Why did I say it that way? Which of these Wooks would you like to learn more about? Like, which of these are you the most eager to like go look up a YouTube video about, or read a book that they're in, or play the game, or whatnot?
Well, I'll say the Wookiees that I have experienced, Dulana and Buryaga and Canon, I absolutely love those characters. They're some of my favorite like characters. So I'm gonna say all of them, but if I have to pick one, let's see. Yeah, Hanhar has just got so much drama that I want to know more.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Hanhar loves the drama, that's for sure. Hanhar thinks he is the star of this Star Wars, I think.
Nice.
That's for sure.
They're his wars.
Yeah,
They're
that's
his
right.
wars.
Also, did you guys know that Hanhar was the namesake for Han Solo? Yeah. So, I'm just kidding.
Did you make that up?
I was like,
I was
that
gonna
feels a lot
say,
like that feels a lot like the
Can I?
I'm Han Solo
I'm gonna
kind of
call.
moment.
I'm gonna call
from
BS.
it does.
Take the cards. Yeah, we're calling your bluff.
Jared,
Not
this is why we
true.
don't believe anything you say.
Yeah.
I was sitting with that for like a good couple hours today. I was like,
Nice.
man, why is there a Wookiee named Hanhar when one of the core Star Wars characters, ow, dang it, that hurt, is named Han? And there's this evil Wookiee named Hanhar. Anyway, that's just welcome to my brain.
Yay.
Also, welcome to Skooma Joe's brain because he says Itchy is the best Wookiee. Don't at me.
Oh.
He apparently,
Okay,
Probably the most.
apparently he's
memorable.
got the longest Wikipedia page according to Jared.
I mean, apparently.
And browser history. Wow.
there's there's a lot there. That's for sure. All right, Oz, which of the Legends Wookiees do you want to know more about? and why?
Yeah, I mean, Hanhar's a great choice. I feel like I just learned a lot, but apparently I didn't even get started. It's tough to not choose Tyvaka. I'll back up real quick here. You mentioned that we probably didn't know a lot about these. As I've said, I'm not a huge Legends guy. In fact, I even brought a prop and I just hadn't had a chance to use it. I have here
Oh, nice.
my entire Legends collection,
Oh, I'm so sad.
which is Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina, and this random. I think this was my cousin's, and he left it at our house one time when he was a kid. It's random
Nice.
Clone Wars comic. I've read neither of them, but I do own them. I read some Legends comics back in the day, so I'm not completely ignorant, but it's tough to not go with Tyvaka because I think just the concept of a Wookiee Jedi is so cool, and we've like danced around it several times, and then I guess George was like, no, that's too much. But yeah, Gunji from the Clone Wars, who also has a wooden hilt, which I guess they stole from the comics, and Burry from the High Republic. So I'm hoping at some point they'll bring one on screen. Maybe in the Acolyte, Burry could still be. Wookiees live a long time.
That's right.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. It'd be just like that image that you pull up with him. A big hairy dude with a lightsaber.
I know.
Who's just like wicked tall.
Yeah. That image you're talking about from the cover of Young Jedi Knight's lightsabers, I mean, that for me is my lifeblood. It is just, I love that series. I love Lookback. Just the idea that there's a Wookiee Jedi, and I don't love the Diversity Alliance stuff, but I love everything else about Lookback.
But so I guess that's why I like Tyvaka, because you get that interaction with the prequel era, which is so fun because that's our childhood. A lot of us. And yeah, seeing him and Liam Neeson. Maybe Liam Neeson comes back. I don't know. If we're getting wish fulfillment, let's go.
Absolutely. I'd love to learn more about Tyvaka too, because I have not read the entire Dark Horse Republic series.
Well, apparently he's just in 4 issues, so he's like, it's a real one and done kind of guy.
It's a whole story arc.
Well, sure, but there's a lot of room to explore, I guess.
It's a great series, that's for sure. At least what I read of it. And Emily, your choice for your favorite, or the one you're at least the most, intrigued by, out of the Legends Wookiee Hall of Fame.
I mean, y'all know how much I love Revan. And you know how much I love Bastila. So it's got to be Jakaro for me.
Mhm.
I mean, I would just love to unpack Revan's storyline even more. So the fact that it comes with a really cool, crazy, sick, like Wookiee, bring it on.
Excellent. The good news, Emily, is in order to get to Jakaro's story, you get to play the entirety of one of the
All of it.
storylines in Star
Yeah.
Wars: The Old Republic. It took me about a year. I just finished it about this time last year. And then he's in the Shadow of Revan DLC, which is not the first of the DLC stories. It's like the fourth or fifth. So you have to play the entire
I
story
see.
of one of the characters and then 2 or 3 DLCs in order to get to the Shadow of Revan. So you're in for a treat.
Is this
Okay.
a bad time to say that I'm thinking about just abandoning KOTOR and watching some YouTube videos to get the story?
I would play
Amen.
KOTOR. I'm not
Amen
sure.
to that.
I honestly,
Start with the holiday special and then go on to Swim Tour.
I
Move
honestly,
along.
Emily, would recommend. You can binge all of Jakaro's story
How
in
about
like
I
a
just
good
take it to the Wook?
a single
And
15. No, he's fun to like visualize
okay.
because you got the whole gag of the swearing and Shiri Wook followed by the droid smoothing it over, and you can probably get all you need to know in 5 minutes. So there you go. Congratulations, you
Great.
win.
Takes much less time.
I think one of my favorite things about the vast history of Star Wars or any universe like this, but especially Legends, it's like, someone will have like a favorite character. It's like, oh yeah, you read all these books. No, I read their Wikipedia page, and that took me an hour. Like it's still a lot of reading just to get the summary.
Okay,
Look,
reading the Wikipedia page on a yeah, that's right. Sound the alarm.
that's not what I was implying. I'm not saying it's the same as reading a book. I'm just saying you hear that like, oh yeah, I've read that Wikipedia page because there's too much information. There's too many books. Those are not all Star Wars books, but let's pretend they are. That's how many there are.
There is nothing less interesting in the entire world than reading a long Wikipedia page.
They're too detailed.
Rick and I disagree, and I'm pretty sure Oz is with us. Overruled.
I skim them usually. They're pretty dense.
They are.
Yeah, I
dense.
skim.
They can manage to take the most interesting character and then make it sound like it's being read by the teacher from the Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
What's the line we all use in high school? I just go to Wikipedia for the sources. So
Yeah.
it's the same for the book for me. I'm just looking for the sources. That's all. Yeah.
Well, Rick, I know what you're not going to be reading the Wikipedia page of, and instead you are actually reading word for word every single word of our next roundtable book on Legends Look Back. As we close out the show, tell the folks what we have coming up next.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force.
That would be Star Wars Galaxies: The Ruins of Dantooine.
Oh, that's
Right
the
here.
one.
That's
I
right.
fell
Let's get a
asleep on
close-up on
chapter
that.
1.
Oz, you have
last
to read
night.
it too. You're on the show.
Yeah.
I've read the cover
Congratulations.
enough. I mean,
They're
like,
like you should. Let me look at that.
yeah.
Hey,
I don't want to look at
What
that
if I
anymore.
told you it's pretty good?
Okay, the prologue was really good. I was intrigued. I wanted to know more. Then, like, the first sentence of the first chapter, Musk...
Save it for the show.
Yeah, I'll
save it
I'll
for
save
the
it.
round
I'll
table.
save it.
When is that round table? Excuse me. When
That
is that round
round
table? We have not
table
set it in stone,
Is next.
but we are shooting for mid-December. So, I'm trying to be flexible because I do know it's the holidays. I do know that it's not necessarily like top of the list book, but the good news is it's only 286 pages.
Yeah, we can do it.
And apparently there's an ad back there.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very excited
Checks.
about that. What else are we excited about next week? I'm excited because next Thursday we will not have a show.
Why not?
Next Thursday, instead, we will be celebrating American Thanksgiving.
Oh, American Thanksgiving.
Let's go.
Americans.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be like,
I love it.
too ethnocentric because we do have a good contingent of international listeners, especially Canadian.
Yeah,
Do
they
they
can
count as
come-
international?
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. They have a different Thanksgiving.
They do, which we learned is early October. So
Oh, so they already
Sorry.
had their fun.
yeah, they already did. They're ready for the show, but
They don't
we're
have
not.
Life
So
Day,
we're,
though.
we're taking next week off, and happy Life Day to all
Yes.
and to all. a good night. That does it for this week. Thanks for joining us for Legends Look Back. Thank you to our incredible patrons for your support. A special thank you to our Jedi High Council, Brian, Julie, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander, and our Alliance High Command, Ashley Ingalls, Elizabeth Cloutier, Sally, and Chris Eilerson, and of course, to our special guest on this episode, the Wookiee robe-clad Oz Davis. Remember to sub to this channel and leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. If you'd like your thoughts read on the show, you can find our contact information in the description below, or we're on Twitter at Legends Look Back. Remember to keep the Youtini fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. Also,
Thanks for having me, guys.
good night.